What's up, guys? It's your boy Zowoki back with another crime talk with Zowoki. We're going to be taking a look at another case that I definitely hold very interested in my mind and my heart is the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, where a couple years ago, the unfortunate events that led to Gabby Petito's murder from her boyfriend. And then lo and behold, the boyfriend went missing and he ended up gone as well. But there's a lot of discrepancies, a lot of weird things that happen with this case as well. Why he came home without her and stating that he didn't do anything to her. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be taking a look at in just a short amount of time in this video. But before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor, and the people that have been joining this channel, you guys are fantastic. We just hit 23,000 subscribers. Still can't see the day, but we're on a road to 100K. But make sure you guys are subscribed by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it so when I do post videos like this one, you'll get that little ring notification that I posted that video. And you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you so very much for the support and love you've been showing on this channel. Now, we're going to be taking a look at the events that took place with the Gabby Petito timeline with the across the country trip that they were planning on doing for a year. How did she die? Obviously, we know certain things and so forth, but Brian Laundrie's notebook that contained pretty much his whole confession that was brought forward by his mother. Now, there has been rumors that apparently the parents were holding and hiding him. We found out later on that he was in a swamp type wood area where his backpack and notebook were the only thing they found. They found no remains. They found nothing. I think they found like a bone. That was it, which it takes a long time for decay and stuff like that. But the unfortunate events that took place that took Gabby Petito's life still shocks me to this day. We looked at it like about 2 years ago, and we're going to revisit it because obviously we have a new playlist on channel Zowoki of crime talk, and we're going to take a look at it. So with that being said, let's take a look and see what more we can find about this case.
Yep, never goes outside.
She just wanted to live her life.
July 2nd, 2020. Exactly 1 year before a life-changing road trip would begin, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie announced their engagement online. On Instagram, a picture of their first date. Gabby writing, "Brian asked me to marry him, and I said yes."
And whatever other people, I do apologize for stopping, but you guys don't want me talking during the video. But a lot of people mention how he looks like Chris Watts. Just throwing that out there.
1 day later, Brian posting, "Till death do us part. I'm so happy." The answer was yes. Then there was the van. The 22-year-old and 23-year-old purchasing a vehicle to take them across country. A white 2012 Ford Transit van. New van means new adventures. And it would all begin on July 2nd, 2021, from the hamlet of Blue Point in Suffolk County on Long Island, where Gabby and Brian were visiting her parents, celebrating her brother's high school graduation. July 4th, on the road in their new home, outfitted for camping and cooking, the couple snapped photos at Monument Rocks in Scott City, Kansas. Then to Colorado. 2 nights at the campsites at the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Reserve, with sand surfing.
It looks like the same sand dunes
Next
that
up,
the Watts were at.
After leaving Colorado and getting
Or not the Watts, but Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger was at.
stuck in a dust storm, the couple spent 3 nights in Zion National Park, hiking and pitching a picture-perfect campsite. From Zion to Cedar Breaks National Monument to Bryce Canyon National Park. The couple taking pictures and videos near the edge of the cliffs.
Oh.
I love the van.
A few days later, Gabby posting photos from Mystic Hot Springs. Then hiking barefoot through Canyonlands National Park. After that, 12 days go by with no posts. Thursday, August 12th, Gabby posts photos from a trip just days before, a hike around the delicate arch at Arches National Park. Gabby noting she waited in a short line for someone to take their photo. Later, camping in Devil's Garden. But August 12th, things would take a turn.
Currently doing 45 miles an hour. Zone.
August 12th, August 13th, 2018 was when Shanann was murdered. How crazy is that?
Through here is 25. Oh! Subject just hit the curb.
Officers called to reports of a disorderly conduct encountered Gabby and Brian in Moab City, Utah.
What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
I'm Brian. Gabby, Brian? Okay.
Brian tells police Gabby got frustrated because she was trying to start a blog. She had been working on it for hours. He says they got into a fight when he got in the van with dirty feet.
She just got worked up because we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go hike arches before the sun goes down.
Gabby explains to officers she has anxiety and OCD.
Some days I have really bad OCD.
Brian is determined to be the victim and pleads with officers to not press charges.
I'm fine, and I love Gabby. I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me.
Police ask the two to separate for the night. They take Brian to a hotel and give Gabby the keys to the van. The next day, Brian posts photos tagged in Arches National Park and then in Moab.
By himself?
A week after the altercation, Gabby posts, but it's unclear where the couple is in terms of location. She also posts her first and only YouTube video for her blog. It appears to chronicle the couple's relationship and travels.
San Diego?
On August 25th, Gabby posts her last Instagram post, writing, "Happy Halloween," posing with a pumpkin in front of a mural outside the Monarch, a venue in Ogden, Utah, north of Salt Lake City. And then there's this. Jen Bethune says
weird.
this video was taken in Teton County on 27th August around 6 p.m. And it shows a van that looks identical to Gabby's, but police have not confirmed it is hers.
It looks like it.
2 days later, on the 29th of August,
My boyfriend and I picked up Brian.
a woman claims to pick up a hitchhiker from Coulter Bay Village, south of Grand Teton.
He approached us asking us for a ride because he needed to go to Jackson, which we were going to Jackson that night.
This happened about 5:30 p.m. After seeing social media videos, she now identifies that person as Brian.
I'm hoping this can help someone identify him.
On August 30th, Gabby's mother receives a text from her daughter, but believes she didn't send it.
I just believe she's in danger because she's not in touch with us, and she could be alone somewhere. She could be stranded somewhere in the wilderness, and she needs help.
2 days and more than 2,300 miles later, on September 1st, police say Brian arrives in Northport, Florida, with the van, but without Gabby. She's reported missing by her parents on Long Island on September 11th. That same day, the van is processed for evidence at the home the two shared with Brian's parents. Brian does not talk to the police or to the FBI.
Which is so
then
weird.
on September 15th, Brian is named a person of interest in the case. The police chief of Northport pleading with the Laundrie family to speak to them. At the time, they do not realize it, but Brian is not at home. The next day,
2 people went on a trip, 1 person returned, and that person that returned isn't providing us any information.
police and Gabby's family begging for the Laundrie family to speak up.
I think
We
Dog
beg
the
you
Bounty
to tell
Hunter
us.
came in too.
As a parent, how could you let us go through this pain?
The Petito family even pens a heartfelt letter to Brian's parents.
As a parent, how could you put Gabby's younger brothers and sisters through this?
That evening, Brian's sister speaking exclusively with Good Morning America.
Obviously, me and my family want Gabby to be found safe. She's like a sister, and my children love her. And all I want is for her to come home safe and sound, and this to be just a big misunderstanding.
Then, on Friday, September 17th, the Laundries call police to report Brian is missing. They claim they last saw him Tuesday the 14th. He said he was going to the county park. The family attorney says they searched for him there on Wednesday.
Nobody.
Then drove his Ford Mustang back to their home on Thursday morning. However, Eyewitness News has confirmed Laundrie's car was back in the driveway on Wednesday. On Saturday, there were dual searches for 2 missing
Was that a
persons.
drone?
Authorities scour the massive 25,000-acre county park known as the Carlton Reserve, north of the Laundrie family home in Florida, to no avail all weekend. Across the country, the FBI, the National Park Service, and local law enforcement agencies search the mountainous terrain of Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Search it for clues about what may have happened to Gabby. Then, on Sunday, the heartbreaking news.
Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery.
Authorities say law enforcement agents have found a body, and they believe it's Gabby.
It's for something stupid. It's like, why?
And we've got our first look at what he wrote about the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. It's his confession in his own writing, and legal experts say it could become evidence in a current lawsuit against the Laundrie family.
Which I did find out the lawsuit from Gabby Petito's family to Brian Laundrie's family was $3 million.
Let's bring in Fox 13's Janae Lewis live in our newsroom with a story and what he wrote. Janae, this captured everybody's attention last year. What does this say?
It's still capturing everyone's attention now. You know, since the FBI discovered this notebook last year, there have been a number of questions about what was inside. Agents previously said Laundrie wrote his confession, but now we know why, at least in his words, he did it.
I want to know why.
Glimpses into his final words. The FBI recovered this notebook last year near the remains of Brian Laundrie in the Carlson Reserve in Sarasota County. And now for the first time, we are seeing what he wrote. Inside, FBI agents say he confessed to the murder of Gabby Petito. In the pages publicly released, Laundrie writes, "I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it was what she wanted. But I see now all the mistakes I made." The FBI determined Laundrie killed Petito last year while on a cross-country trip. Her parents in New York reported her missing when they stopped hearing from her, then learned Brian returned home to Florida without her. Searchers found her body in Wyoming, and a coroner said she was strangled to death. Laundrie called her death an unexpected tragedy, saying Petito was hurt while they were at a park in Utah. He said he didn't know the extent of her injuries, but knew that she was in extreme pain, saying, "From the moment I decided, took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her," adding, "I'm ending."
But why would you? That's got to be even worse.
My life, not because of a fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her. I've lost our whole future together, every moment we could have cherished. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Forensic experts say extensive testing was likely done to determine the notebook's authenticity.
So one of the things that we can do, because of the water and the weather and everything, there may or may not have been DNA on it, but we can do a handwriting analysis.
The release of Laundrie's notebook comes the same week the parents of Gabby Petito had their first hearing in a lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's parents. They claim that as they desperately searched for their missing daughter, the Laundries already knew what happened and refused to speak to investigators because they were trying to protect their son. Analysts say the contents of his notebook could be a critical piece of evidence in the family's lawsuit.
If there is a date in the notebook, like a lot of people will date a diary or something like that.
The journal reveals a lot about what Brian Laundrie's intent was, and whether or not that crosses over into anything they contribute to his own parents, that's a different story.
Now, Brian's parents want the lawsuit thrown out. The judge says he'll decide in the next 2 weeks whether the case will proceed to a jury trial. If this happens, this will occur sometime in the next year, so Mark, still a lot more unfolding and developing with this story.
There's so much to unpack there,
So
and
much.
to go back to where we were when all this was happening, to try to get in his mind. It's a grand tragedy for sure. Janae, thanks.
So apparently this was a burn after read letter that could be used in the civil suit, but it's very interesting.
Letter that family members of Gabby Petito wanted to see. And while it contains multiple intriguing sentences that are definitely raising some eyebrows, there's no indication on it as to when it exactly was written. Well, right now we're going to break down some of the biggest revelations in that letter. So Gabby Petito's parents are suing the Laundries and their family attorney for intentional infliction of emotional distress. They claim that the trio hid the fact that Petito was dead and instead released misleading statements to the public. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie set off on a cross-country road trip in July of 2021. 2 months later, Laundrie returned home from the trip alone, and Petito's body was found on the outskirts of a Wyoming national park. The next month, Laundrie's remains were found in a park near his Florida home with a journal confessing to the murder.
But it wasn't that
On
much
Wednesday,
in remains.
An attorney for Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt argued in favor of releasing the burn after reading letter. The judge granted the family access. The letter Roberta Laundrie wrote to her son Brian was in an envelope with burn after reading written on it. The judge said that the letter could serve as evidence to prove that the Laundries knew Petito was dead when the letter was written, although the Laundries claim it was written well before the road trip. So let's break down some of the biggest discoveries in this short letter. First up, this line, "If you're in jail, I will bake a cake with a file in it." Now, of course, this is pretty damning since Brian Laundrie could have been arrested for murder had he not died by suicide. There's another line, "If you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with a shovel and garbage bags." Gabby Petito's body was found a few weeks after she died from strangulation, according to a Wyoming coroner. And then there's this third line from the letter, which corroborates Roberta Laundrie's statement that this letter was a way for her just to try to connect with her son as they went through a very tough time in their relationship. She wrote, quote, "No matter what we do or where we go or what we say, we will always love each other." Joining me right now, legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer, Terry Austin. You guys have slightly different views on this letter, so let's dive in. Terry, you agreed that the letter should be admitted into evidence. Why do you think it's relevant?
It's completely relevant. It should be admitted because whether this is literal or figurative or whether this is code, this letter should be admitted, and
seems code.
A judge made the right decision. And I think it's up to the jury to determine what the date of that was based on any forensic evidence. It's up to the jury to decide whether she was being literal or figurative or somehow using a code. And so I think that the judge has to determine, is this prejudicial or is it probative? He made the right decision. It is definitely probative. You have to wonder what was in the minds of the parents when they were writing this. And actually, I do think that the Petitos have a very good argument that they knew where that body was, they knew that she was dead, and that they were hiding it in some way, shape, or form from the public, and they were trying to help their son do the same thing.
Well, Brian, it certainly seems like damning evidence against the Laundries, but how would you argue otherwise if you were their attorney?
Two arguments here, Jesse. One, it's only relevant, if to Terry's point, if the letter happened either before or when the parents knew that Gabby Petito was deceased. They're saying that that didn't happen. The timing makes it irrelevant. The other side is saying, well, we think it happened at this time. That's not a legal argument. That doesn't combat that. Also, all the points that you read out, yeah, those are damning lines. But she also says, if you fly to the moon, I'll watch the skies for your re-entry. And if you hate my guts, I'll get new guts. That's definitely a hyperbole. So what are we going to do? Pick out some sentences that are true and then say that other sentences are hyperbole? Or just say in its entirety, this letter clearly appears to be a hyperbole and not an actual true statement of what she would do?
If we only knew when that letter was written, it would clear up a lot of this confusion. There was another issue at that hearing I want to talk to you about, and that was whether former Laundrie family attorney Stephen Bertolino would be added to the civil suit. Attorneys argued motions to dismiss the civil case as well as motions to drop Bertolino from it. The Petito side contends that Bertolino made statements about wanting Gabby to be found when he actually already knew she was dead. They say that this was cruel. The judge said that she'll rule on the motions to dismiss in a written order. Over now to another story that we're following closely. The man convicted of shooting at a police canine while trying to get away from officers.
So we actually just found Christina Randall. Obviously, we watched her before when she talked about Brian, or not Brian, but Chris Watts and Gabby, holy cow. Chris Watts and Shannon, we're going to be taking a look at it. It looks like she's got a whole new look to her and stuff like that. I think this was a year ago. So let's take a look at what she has to say about this whole thing with a notebook and what her partake is on this as well.
Today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere.
She continues doing all this stuff.
Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, Y'all already know. Y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer, maybe taking some nice trips or doing some things at home, barbecues, camping, good stuff like that. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Brian's notebook that was just released. So if you guys were with me here just this past Friday,
even dirty.
Then you know that Gabby Petito's parents are suing Brian Laundrie's parents, or attempting to sue Brian Laundrie's parents. And they just had their pretrial hearing last week. And now the judge is out, and the judge said in 2 weeks he will have an answer whether this case will go forward to trial or not. I am hoping that it goes forward to trial. Now, a lot of people are thinking like, okay, Brian Laundrie's parents, they didn't do anything wrong. They have the right to keep their mouths shut. They have a right to get a lawyer. But if you guys watch Friday's video, then you will understand why I now believe that they did do things wrong and that there absolutely should, at the very least, be a trial. Like at the very...
I mean, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to keep to yourself. I mean, until you talk with your attorney and stuff like that. But if you know the whereabouts of a female girl that is possibly by herself, don't know where she's at, give the parents some type of relief knowing that their daughter is okay or what have you. They said nothing. That's shady in itself. And then it's shady in itself to see Brian come home without Gabby, and he has the van. So that means Gabby has nothing. So I would, if I was the parent of Gabby, I would have been freaking the hell out just like they would, and I'd be wanting answers from the parents and Brian as well, and they said nothing.
Very least. I mean, we put people through trials all the time, okay? Let these people go to trial. By the way, I think this is the point that I should let you guys know that everything in this video is going to be my opinion that is given on very, very, very public information, and my opinion is unprofessional. Please go do your own research, form your own opinions. Just don't show hate to anybody anywhere. The Laundries released Brian Laundrie's notebook. Now, we all remember whenever his remains were found out at that park, there was a wet bag, and in the wet bag was a notebook, and we were all wanting to know, what did he say in that notebook? FBI came out and said that there was a full confession in it. No need to go any further and look into anything. The whole thing was strange, you guys. You remember? The whole thing was strange. But they released a notebook, which seems so odd, because I literally remember going, why did they release a notebook now?
Yeah.
This is weird. Why is this out? Well, I believe it's because they wanted the public to see what Brian said in the notebook so we could get off of their case. But truthfully and honestly, in my opinion, it only made things worse.
It did.
We're going to go over exactly what he wrote in this notebook today. And in the next video, unless anything more pressing comes up before then, we're going to go over some of the things that we now know, allegedly, that Brian Laundrie's parents, Chris and Roberta, did. And you guys, it is so much more than we ever could have imagined. I am truly shocked right now. That's why I'm not like jumping all over the place, because I'm like, it is truly a lot. So let's start with the notebook. I will leave a link down below where you guys can go and check out the notebook as well, but I'm gonna read it out loud to y'all, and we're gonna talk about it. First page. Gabby, I wish I was right by your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made, even getting more excited for the future. But we lost our future. I can't live without you. I've lost every day we could have spent together, every holiday. I'll never get to play with again. Never go hiking with TJ. I loved you more than anything. I can't bear to look at our photos, to recall great times, because it is why I cannot go on. When I close my eyes, I will think of laughing on the roof of the van, falling asleep to the sight of the crystal geyser. I will always love you. Okay, so just starting off, I'm aggravated. Okay, first of all, this is what he says. We lost our future. No, y'all did not lose your future.
He took it.
Brian destroyed their future. Brian destroyed Gabby. I lost every day we could have spent together, every holiday. What? Her family lost every holiday and every day they could have spent with their daughter. Not you. You stole it from everybody.
Amen.
You stole her from the world. Like, the fact that he's even writing this, ugh.
It pisses you off.
Let's go to the next page. If you're reading Gab's journal, which right there, he wrote this, and you guys are gonna see, and if you haven't already read this, he wrote this for people to find, okay? It's very clear, he makes it out. So this is all, it's giving, I'm being recorded, and I know that I am, so I'm gonna put on a show, right? We've just been through all of this. If you're reading Gab's journal, looking at photos from our life together, flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her. Knowing that every day you'll wake up without her, you wouldn't want to wake up. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I know adored by many. I'm so very sorry to her family because I love them. I'd consider her younger siblings my best of friends. I am so sorry to my family. This is a shock to them as well as a terrible grief. Sorry to your family. Oh my gosh, we got to keep going here because I'm gonna flip out. They loved as much, if not more than me. What? He's talking about her family. They loved her as much, if not more than me. Yes, of course they loved her more than you. They didn't take her life. You guys got to think about Gabby's mom and dad, okay? Gabby's mom remembers the day that she found out she was pregnant with her daughter, her firstborn. She remembers feeling Gabby growing in her tummy. A lot of y'all know exactly what this feels like. A lot of y'all are parents. She probably remembers teaching her to walk and her first word and the way she looked in kindergarten with her little backpack on, and then going through high school and, her last day of high school, and then meeting Brian, and then trusting his family, and then for him he stole her life. And then to get up here and say they loved her as much, if not more than me. Oh, they absolutely loved her more than you. A new daughter to my mother. No, she was not. Gabby was not. This part really grinded my gears. Gabby was not a daughter to your mother. And actually, it just makes me want to cry. She was not a mother to Gabby. And neither was Chris. Chris Laundrie was not a father to her. When you use terms like mother and father and stuff like that, especially if you're putting that label on somebody that's not even biological, that really truly means something. That is somebody that's there for you through the good and the bad. And it is pretty clear and obvious that the moment it went bad, snip, that's not her daughter anymore. An aunt to my nephews. Now that I can agree with, because Gabby loved Brian Laundrie's nephews. And if you guys don't remember, Brian Laundrie's sister came out and said that Gabby, while they were doing these road trips, would send her sons postcards, write them letters, FaceTime them. I mean, she was the best aunt. And so, yeah, that part is true. But to say that she was a daughter to your mother, I don't think so. Please do not make this harder for them. They made this harder for them, and we're gonna get there. This is an unexpected tragedy. When I read that this was an unexpected tragedy, I just think back to the cop's body cam footage. I think back to him smiling and being so cool, calm, and collective. I think about Gabby blaming herself for everything.
Keys are on the hood.
She's like, I'm OCD. It's like, don't worry about you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood.
It's so much easier to just beat yourself up and take on all the blame than to hold anybody else in your life accountable. So you beat yourself up, right? I'm sorry. And that's what I saw out of Gabby. But when you listen to that 911 call, somebody called in 911 and said there was a man smacking a young woman around. Rushing back to our car to cross the streams Before it got too dark to see or too cold, I hear a splash and a scream. I could barely see. I couldn't find her for a moment. Shouted her name. I found her breathing heavily, gasping. She was freezing cold. The blazing hot national parks in Utah. So this is where he's saying what happened. And I'm gonna let y'all know right now, spoiler alert, I don't believe a word of this story of his.
Yeah, either do I.
There may be bits and pieces of the truth, but it is nauseating to read this. So in his story, they were rushing back to the car. They crossed that little stream that we've seen 1.5 million times. And mind you, a reporter, Brian Eaton, who has covered this case since the beginning, did the walk from where the van was to where her body was found, and it was a 5-minute walk. 5 minutes, okay? So they were rushing back. He's saying she slipped, she screamed, and when he found her, she was breathing heavily, grasping for air. The temperature had dropped to freezing. She was soaking wet. I carried her as far as I could from the stream towards the car, stumbling, exhausted, in shock. When my blank and knew I couldn't safely carry her, I started a fire and spooned her as close to the heat. What was, even if that was even, let's just pretend in some alternate universe
Can't you call
this
911?
is true. What was he on? Was he in an alternate universe in his mind? Because what in the world would tell you your girlfriend slipped and fell, allegedly, in the water, bumped her head. She's breathing heavily. You carry her. You decide, oh, I can't carry her anymore, so I'm going to build a fire. You know how long it takes to build a fire? It's not like you got firewood sitting right there waiting on you. You have to go gather everything. You know what I mean? You got to get something to start it with, some kind of paper or something. You built a fire, and then you dragged her body Oh my gosh, this is, She was so thin, had already been freezing too long. I couldn't at the time realize that I should have started a fire first, but I wanted her out of the cold back to the car. How about you wanted her in a hospital if that was true?
Exactly.
But it wasn't true. From where I started the fire, I had no idea how far the car might be. Only knew it was across the creek. How about calling 911? How about calling the cops? How about getting Life Flight out there? I mean, this park and these big national parks like this, the cops are no strangers to people getting hurt. They fall rock climbing, they get tripped, they get bit by snakes. Like, stuff happens out there. That's why there's certain rangers and stuff that are at these parks. Like, because you're typically pretty far anywhere from a hospital. I mean, I'm not sure about this park, but I'm just saying there are resources and ways. I gotta finish it or we're never gonna get through. When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she couldn't tell me what hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger. Her feet hurt. Her wrist hurt, but she was freezing, shaking violently. I do believe that because if you guys have never been in spring water, like we have a river where I live at, the water is like freezing year round. It never gets warm. I think the warmest it gets is like 70 or 68 degrees, something like that. These spring waters are like this. So I know that this could be possible. But I think he hit her. He hit her with something. He hit her too hard this time. Or he hit her with something in the right spot.
Or pissed
and
off.
It changed her instantly. See, this is something that a lot of people don't know. That's why fighting, if you're not fighting for your life, it actually can be dangerous. If somebody falls and hits their temple, or if they fall in a way and they crack their skull, they get a brain bleed or something like that, you can literally die, you know? And I think he hit her with something, or he hit her and he freaked out. He had to figure something else out because there was no going back from whatever he hit her with. Because the autopsy did show that she had blunt force trauma to the head and the neck. While carrying her, she continually made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said little. Between violent shakes, gasping in pain, it sounds to me like she was having some sort of seizures or something like that from the head trauma she had just went through. Begging for an end to her pain. She would fall asleep and I would shake her awake, fearing she couldn't close her eyes and if she had a concussion. I'm telling you right now, in my heart of hearts, unless something else comes out, he hit her with something. He hit her, and he hit her the wrong way, and she started having all of these convulsions and stuff, and he was trying to fix it. Wake up, no, you're gonna be okay. Like, this is what I'm thinking happened.
He messed up
I think he's
wrong.
taking bits and pieces of stuff to make himself look like the good guy. She would wake in pain, started her whole painful cycle again, furious that I was the one waking her. Right, okay. She wouldn't let me try to cross the creek. What? Are you freaking kidding me? She wouldn't let you? Oh my gosh, this is so bad. She thought like me that the fire would go out in her sleep and she'd freeze. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain and I ended her life. I thought it was merciful. What a freaking sick human being.
Yeah, no kidding.
So sick. This is bad.
Why would you end her life like that?
That is what she wanted. But I see now that all the mistakes that I made, I panicked. I was in shock. But from that moment, I decided I took away her pain. And I knew I couldn't go on without her. I rushed home to spend any time I had left with my family. I mean, just literally. You got to be one sick
mother.
In order to twist something like this, to still try to make yourself look like the good guy. And I every time I think about this, I literally just think about the body cam footage of him with Gabby crying, face red, blaming herself, and him just smiling. Oh, yeah. Can I have a bottle of water? Can I have a water? Oh, no. It's plastic. Oh, I couldn't drink out of those. Oh, can I get my head out of the sun? Oh, yeah. I wanted to drive north and let James or TJ kill me, but I wouldn't want them to spend time in jail over my mistake, even though I'm sure they would have liked to. I'm ending my life not because I'm fear of punishment, because you wouldn't want anybody to think anything bad about you. Yeah. It's not because I'm scared of getting in trouble. Not kidding. For that. But rather because I can't stand to live another day without her. I've lost our whole future together. No, you did not lose your whole future together.
You screwed it up.
Stole her future from her family, everybody that loved her, and everybody that would have known or come in contact with her or loved her in the future. Every moment we could have shared. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Please do not make life harder for my family. They lost a son and a daughter. Oh man, you guys, now I've already told, that irks me so bad. The most wonderful girl in the world, Gabby, I'm sorry. I have taken my life by this creek in hopes that the animals may tear me apart, that it might make some of her family happy. Please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people that littered. So this notebook was released 30 minutes after the family left the FBI office in Tampa, okay? Now, they are trying to get the freedoms of information request because Gabby Petito's family wants all the information out. They want it all out. They said this is not even the tip of the iceberg, and that is mind-blowing to me. So this is one confession, right?
Oh boy.
There is allegedly 2 more confessions that they have that he made, allegedly. And they all have different stuff in them, different stories in them. Let me tell y'all what I think happened, okay? He called Mama, and Mama said, oh, baby, I'm gonna make it right for you. Mom and Daddy said, we got you. They got off phone, called a lawyer. They went on vacation. They did all this crazy mess. If you guys don't remember, they got him a new phone. They thought he was gonna be able to get away with this, or that there was a chance. Because if you guys don't remember, while he's sitting here saying he did all this stuff, he was texting on her phone other family members, pretending
to be her,
pretending that he was in Yosemite Park. Remember that, you guys? Because he was trying to throw the investigators or the people that were looking for her off of the tracks of the Grand Teton National Park. He wanted them to go all the way to California and look for her, but they didn't do that. They went straight to Grand Teton National Park, and that's when he started freaking out at home. And that's when I think he realized, yeah, is a good chance that they were going to find her body. You guys, they pulled the van in the garage, remember? Closed the garage and allegedly cleaned it all the way out. Why would they have done that if he was going to come home, spend a little bit of time with his family?
Exactly.
If all that happened, why didn't he tell Gabby Petito's family what
Right
happened
away.
so they were not in agonizing pain looking for their... You know it's all BS. It's all BS. And it just shows you the level of manipulation
And
that he
monster
will
he
even
was.
try to manipulate after he is dead. Wait until the next video that I do and I tell y'all what
see
his
that one.
mama did. You guys make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you do not want to miss the other video. Thank you guys so much for watching this.
So if you guys want me to watch that video on some more information about Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, make sure you guys comment down below. Let me know your guys' theories, your opinions. I do not think Brian did this by accident. He did this on purpose. He was pissed. He was an abuser. He hit her, not thinking he was going to hit her too hard, and that was the only accident. But instead of making things right, bringing her home, taking care of business, calling the police, or calling the hospital to try to save her, he got rid of her. And he took off, came back home to mommy and daddy, because he was hoping that they would fix it, and things didn't get fixed. They found her. He freaked out and went off. Do I think that he was actually pronounced D-A or D-E-A-D? No. I think it's just a cover-up. He's possibly still alive. That's just a whole other theory. But they stated that they found the bones and the DNA matched that it was his. But I'm not buying much of that either as well. So make sure you guys comment down below. Let me know what you guys want when it comes to watching another episode of Christina Randall's information about the mom, about more when it comes to the death of Gabby Petito. I want to know what you guys think. Don't forget to hit the like button for more of this kind of crime talk and crime watch that you guys want me to look into. There's other cases that you guys have been sending me. It's a lot, but we're going to take a look at them eventually here and there. So, and then don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So keep it real, keep it safe. Please keep it safe, and we'll see you guys next time.